Two basic classifications of hauntings. Human spirits, ghost, poltergeist, wraith, banshee, draugr, revenant, hungry ghost, Pontianak, Gumantang, and prey. You will be able to identify if a spirit is human based on its motives. Ghosts are only capable of low to mid-level phenomena. If the activity spikes beyond a certain threshold, then you may have an infestation of ghost or the presence of something else, and maybe a combination of sorts. The general motive of all human spirits is to induce communication through localized phenomena. It is meant to garner attention. If it is beyond that and is meant to induce fear, then you are dealing with demonic or negative human spirits. Ghosts are in a perpetual flux of crisis. They have gone from being physical to spiritual, and it is uncomfortable if they don't move on. They draw energy from the environment. It can come from power poles and electronics or even be siphoned off of living beings. Cold spots are a common occurrence in their presence as well. This reason that a spirit will manifest is to interact with the world it is stuck in limbo of. It can occur through ghost calls, where a disembodied voice will actually call you on your phone or even speak in midair. Full or partial apparitions can be seen, and on certain levels it can appear as solid as somebody with a physical body. Being pushed or shoved can be for attention or to generate fear, depending on the spirit in question. Lights can blink on and off, animals will bark or react to seemingly nothing, and so on. Under the category of human spirits, we have human positive and human negative. A ghost could be defined as positive or negative based on its actions. If it's just phenomena to get attention, know that it means no harm. If the phenomena is designed to strike fear and uncomfortable feelings arrive, you have a negative presence. Ghosts are able to communicate in the ego form even after they cross over. This is because they are in pure spirit form and have shed their ego shell or ghost body. So don't think of a loved one being gone forever if they cross over and are reborn. But if they don't cross over, then they slowly go insane in the astral and will act up in an attempt to ask for help. I have comprehensive guides and techniques in a book that I've written that you can inquire about for crossing spirits over and negating phenomena. There are non-organic celestial beings that are composed of higher vibrational energy bodies that come from dimensions much higher than our own. Angels are a race of celestial beings, but they are only one minuscule fraction of what is out there, and they are not the only celestial higher class of being. Poltergeist. This term is used in varying manners, but it is more applicable to a specific type of phenomena which is human-based. A poltergeist is a human with so much pent-up emotion and psychic juice that it is not released in a healthy way and explodes like a pressure cooker. Seen commonly in teenagers and abuse victims who most of the time don't know they are psychic to begin with. Teaching a person with poltergeist phenomena occurring on how to ground, healthily express, and release emotions and energy is the most effective way to destroy the poltergeist. They are unconscious emanations of the psychic nature from a troubled living person. It is best to use trauma regression or hypnotherapy to get to the root of the haunting. This is something that should only be attempted by someone with a high level of skill and experience. Gumantang and prey. The easiest way to remove a prey spirit that has been sent by its owner to attack you is by burning the amulet. The problem being that the amulet is usually with the owner. Another thing you can do is place images of various Buddhas all over the home as they fear the image of Buddha as a whole. This also applies to Gumantang, the only difference being that Gumantang have a bit of a darker creation story. Gumantang are stronger than most prey, minus lok prey, certain may prey, and variations of prey that may not be human in nature, which are essentially multiple human spirits bound to an object. Stay tuned for another episode where we'll actually go in depth on the subject of prey. Inhuman spirit, demonic, archon, jinn, fiends, hound, fae, astral parasites, vampires, hags, elementals, shadow people. Demonic spirits operate in three distinct stages. I use the term demon not in a religious sense, but as a descriptor for any non-human entity not of this physical plane that is quasi-physical in nature and of malicious intent. Stage 1. Infestation. The infestation stage is the first of the 3 standard stages of demonic activity. Here only small things will occur. These things are intended to generate an atmosphere of fear, but not strong enough to make the people worry to the point of seeking outside help. Often it is focused on one person in order to make them question their sanity. Often the demonic will pose as a ghost in order to gain its victim's trust. Common disguises for the demonic include the ghost of a child or a deceased loved one. And physical phenomena will often include throwing things, stacking furniture, rapping or scratching sounds on the wall, often in patterns of 3. The way to tell a human spirit from a demonic is in the motive. Ask yourself, what is the motive behind the phenomena? If the motive is pure communication, it is likely human. If it is manipulative and meant to trigger fear, you may be dealing with something more. Keep in mind, a wraith will often follow the 3-stage approach as well. Oppression. Stage 2. Fear and psychological submission is the main focus of this stage. There are 2 types of oppression, internal and external. Internal oppression includes phenomena like hearing voices telling them to do horrible things, seeing visions of things that didn't happen, or living your own worst moments in a loop over and over again. Basically, psychological torture. Hallucinations can occur, and so can horrible nightmares and unprovoked feelings of dread and fear. External oppression is a full-blown assault on the physical environment. This is where the high-level poltergeist phenomena such as levitations of people or objects, demonic-induced death, accidents, spontaneous fires, words, liquid or blood appearing to drip down the walls, being scratched or feelings of being touched are also common, and so are objects disappearing and manifesting in different places. Stage 3. Possession. Every stage is done to achieve one of 2 goals. Either the entity wants to get the human target to give up resistance and submit to becoming a vessel for the invading force, or it wants a battery that can sustain its life force. There are 2 types of common possession. 1. Transient possession, aka overshadowing. This happens when an external force is in control for small periods of time. If someone says they are possessed, then this is most likely what is actually happening if it is not a case of mental illness. A fully possessed person would be incapable of telling their possession, but a transient state of possession in a person would be a situation where they could explain what is going on after the hold breaks temporarily. However, they are likely to not remember the episodes, but more so the harassment and external phenomena outside of the key possession moments. The victim usually experiences missing time with no knowledge of what happened when the external force was controlling them. Overt physical phenomena tends to be present during these episodes. It can range from changes in eye color, having superhuman strength, or an extreme adverse reaction to sacred chants and holy objects. Internally, they may feel an insane manic desire to cause suffering to others, which will be seen externally through action and speech. Facial morphing and contortion of the body can also be witnessed, along with speaking in foreign languages that the person doesn't know. Deep guttural growling and animalistic behavior is something else that you may witness. 2. Perfect possession. When the victim and the spirit blend on a personality level and the victim works in collusion with the invading force, that is what we call full integration. This is often seen in certain practices of magic, but also occurs in other situations as well, though it is rarely seen outside magical rituals including selling your soul or welcoming a spirit inside you for higher level magical workings. Some would already call this stage 4 integration. It is marked with high level phenomena before the integrated shifts, such as shadows growing in corners and streaks of black markings on the floor, raining indoors, sensations of movement in the stomach, which is the etheric embryo incubating and developing. I have seen UFO activity in extreme glamour like eating normal food which turns into bugs, coughing up nails, and flies coming out of sink faucets. Classic horror movie stuff. It does contain some grains of truth, however, these situations are incredibly rare. Possession left untreated generally results in the victim being committed, killing themselves, or committing mass murder. Fairies. Mostly, these entities keep to themselves. Rogue fae or disgruntled fae are powerful, some more so than even high-level demonics. All fae are serious entities to not be trifled with. lest you encounter a wrathful version of something you thought to be whimsical. They are known for abducting people and are semi-physical beings residing between our dimension, much like the Jinn. A prayer of your choice and blessed water along with food, candy, and alcohol can be left and delivered to the spot of disturbance in the land where the Fae were unsettled. For protection, iron is the only thing powerful enough and effective against Fae. These entities are not cute and mischievous like television portrays. They are dangerous and very powerful. If you read the lore and have true experience, you'll understand this to be true. Jinn. Very similar to Fae. In fact, it's my understanding and experience that have led me to believe that they are a different cultural variant of Fae that originate from the East. Some similarities include the fact that they both have clans and kings. They also have children and are quasi-physical beings that come from an in-between dimension of the physical and spiritual. Jinn are weak to a few things, such as silver. A ring or necklace made of silver that is worn can prevent possession, and a silver blade dipped in lamb's blood can permanently kill one if manifested into physical form. Although it's incredibly rare, they will physically form entirely. There's usually a bit of dimensional shifting even if they appear physical. They're weak to the EMF of electronics and can be bound inside of a ruby over other types of stones where they would have a greater area of influence. Vampires. These entities are so vastly misunderstood. The lore gets many things wrong. There's 3 types: sanguinarian, astral, and psi. The psi type are born that way, and most are not aware of what they are. They do not feed on blood. They are not weak to sunlight or garlic, and very much so mortal. They have an imbalance of the chakras, and it causes them to energetically drain others around them for survival. If you're shopping in a store or in a room with somebody and all of a sudden you feel tired, you were just drained by a psi vamp. Easiest way to determine this is by wearing silver, as it grounds out their tendrils and prevents energy drains from occurring, and if attempted, they will be the ones suddenly tired instead of you. The sanguinarian type are incredibly rare, and you're likely to never encounter one. They feast on the prana in people's blood. Most of the time they have willing donors and abide by a code among each other. There are rogue ones who do murder their victims. Since you're likely to never encounter one, there's no need to go into further detail. They are so rare, and one could even say endangered, and hide very well, and wouldn't likely be anyone you've ever known or come in contact with. Astral are the 3rd type, and is a disembodied spirit that has been corrupted either through black magic or astral parasites. They differ from wraiths in the sense that they consciously know what they are doing. An attack will be felt as a pinprick or burning sensation, followed by a heavy fatigue, nausea, or vomiting and chills. They slowly leech off the life force of their host and prefer to prolong the torture as long as possible to get the most from its meal. Iron is a great deterrent, along with many of the countermeasures that I'll list below. If the specific spirit is identified, drive a rusty iron nail into the grave to kill it indefinitely. Every time the spirit comes out of its physical body to feed, the iron will fatally wound it as it passes through it to go feed, till it just dissipates. Hellhounds. Usually accompanied by demons or high-level wraiths such as the Hat Man. They typically are only present in places that reckless magic or black magic was performed, incredibly weak to high vibrations, iron, mantra, and silver. Elementals. These entities are naturally found in forests, rivers, and nature in general. Not all, but some storms and natural disasters are elementals playing, or in an angered state. They are not rational or logical beings, quite powerful and dangerous as well, which isn't the best combination to have. They are more like children with superpowers, and it doesn't take much to set them off. It's best not to work with them, as it's a highly unpredictable outcome. To appease them, if you've crossed one or trespassed on their territory, say a prayer of choice and leave an offering of food inside their element. Examples being a meal and a bowl of water for water elementals, or a meal and fire for fire elementals, and for air elementals, leave feathers in the food. With earth elementals, you'll leave the food on bare ground. Once offering is prepared, say your prayer of choice over the food and apologize and leave it there. Shadow people. Oftentimes, these vary as far as the actual species of entities and can be one of 2 things. They're either the astral form of some entity, or they are a type of wraith. One in particular to avoid is the Hat Man. He is usually accompanied by hounds. Basic clearing protocols will banish them. Hags. astral parasites that induce sleep paralysis or hold you down physically while they feed on the energy produced by the fear state. Internal chanting is most effective. They won't be able to attack anyone who has proper protection procedures in place. Iron under the bed or pillow is a great deterrent. Ouija boards. One of the biggest mistakes people will make because of its availability and limited knowledge on their part is to play with a Ouija board. The reason this is dangerous is because it's a wide open channel and only picks up the low vibrations. Possession, attacks, and attachments usually are all you get from playing with the Ouija. Nothing good ever really comes from it. Simple solution for destroying the board: cover it in salt and vinegar, then douse it in gasoline or lighter fluid and burn it. Another alternative is to cover it in salt, then wrap it in aluminum foil with the shiny side facing inwards. Then you bury it and plant a new flower or tree on the spot it's buried. Countermeasures. I've put together a list of steps to take in protecting yourself. You can use other techniques as well, but I like to provide a multitude of options for people who want to prevent a haunting from starting or want to try handling it on their own before they reach out to me. All of the steps below are a combination of tips that will drastically cut down on manifestations for most types of entities. Keep these practices up till activity subsides, or even preferably continue to do them as a preventative, continual maintenance for a healthy home. You don't need to do every step, but it wouldn't hurt to do any combination of a few of the steps, because they most certainly will help your situation. If you get a negative response from spirits as you do any of the steps, keep doing them because it's a sign that has an effect. 1. Get a bowl of white vinegar and mix it with sea salt. Half and half is the proper mixture. Let it evaporate in the area where the manifestations are occurring. This is a great deterrent for manifestation, as the acidity of the mixture will short-circuit the entity's corporeal body as it tries to manifest. Keep topping the bowls off as they evaporate. Not a bad practice to keep up with indefinitely. Also works for homes with heavy emotional charges such as anger and hostile attitudes. 2. Burn some sage in the area twice a week. You can YouTube how. The catch with sage is that the sessions have to run into each other, and it's not a one-time thing. Make sure all areas and corners are thoroughly saturated and that you are using white sage. I personally think using sage is the most basic approach, and I mean that in a demeaning way. So many other practices are hundreds of times more effective. I would only use sage to remove stagnant energies after doing other workings and methods first. 3. If there is a direct manifestation right in front of you, you can shine an LED light at it and it will diminish. Also, passing objects made of iron through manifestations works well to dispel entities and can also close portals. You can sleep with iron under your pillow or bed. It's good to have it in your auric body. If you don't know what that is, it's the circumference of space within a 6-foot radius around your physical body. Having it in your auric body will disrupt the electrical component of connecting to your non-physical body, which is how entities try to achieve connection. Chanting Aum, Aum, for 21 times, or saying a protective prayer like Psalm 91, or the Hanuman Chalisa prayer, the Atanataya Sutta, or Sudpanyak Kata are my personal favorites before bed. Most people would call chanting a benefit because listening to the mantras before bed kind of passively puts it inside of your subconscious and emanates and ripples outwards. This is something that can help dissipate manifestations and weaken their hold. 5. Use this technique specifically for episodes of oppression and possession. I know this is weird, but take some aluminum foil and cut a sheet out and tape it to the back of your neck. Keep it there until it is itchy. Make sure the shiny side is facing out. Think of it as reflecting back the energy that is trying to bridge to yours. If you notice tears in the aluminum foil, press a piece of iron to those spots to sever the entity connection. The significance of a connection to the neck is for easy access to the rest of your body by using what Taoists refer to as the Windgate channel. 6. Garlic is another thing that you'll want to keep handy. The smell alone creates an atmosphere that is unpleasant and is very potent against vampiric attachments. Break the clove open and expose the inside, just as you would if you were preparing it for cooking. For attachments, rub the garlic on the neck and any spots where you have needle-like marks or feelings of itchiness. Spread garlic cloves around the bed and place on windowsills to create a barrier. Change out the garlic as it starts to expire. 7. For a demonic oppression, place an ice cube on the back of the neck. This can break the attachment long enough to begin processes for clearing the attachment completely. The ice shocks the nervous system, which temporarily gives control back to the person. This is a very temporary technique. 8. Print the first pinnacle of the sun and the fifth pinnacle of Mars. Google search Pentacles of Solomon, or the specific pentacles mentioned above. The pinnacle for Mars is best placed on all mirrors in a home and repels negative entities by casting their own darkest fears at them when they see it. The pinnacle for the sun should be placed on the front and back of all doors and works by commanding spirits and forcing them to obey command. The two pinnacles, when specifically combined together, create a wonderfully protective spell. 9. Buy a Himalayan salt lamp and place it in your bedroom by the bed and sleep with it on. This helps to deter negative spirits and will lift the vibrations of the room. There is a health aspect to it as well. It purifies the air and increases respiratory function and alleviates indoor allergies. 10. Get a spray bottle and a rag. Fill the spray bottle with 1/4 baking soda and 1/4 sea salt and half white vinegar. This solution is highly acidic and will disrupt energetic portals and spirit manifestations. Spray on the walls and wipe down with a rag. 11. When experiencing a direct attack, stand in a stream of running water or stand in the bathtub and turn the faucet on, but don't plug the drain. Make sure the water is cold. It's actually more effective to take a cold shower. About 2 to 3 minutes will suffice. This helps by disrupting the attachment by shocking the nervous system. Using running water, especially cold water, is a sort of barrier that spirits have difficulty bridging through. Follow up with grounding afterwards. A simple way to do that is by standing barefoot in grass for about 5 minutes. This reconnects you to the earth in your body. It will also leach out toxic chi into the earth from the soles of your feet. 12. Another effective cleansing technique is to take a pinch of Himalayan salt and place it underneath your tongue. Hold your tongue down until it completely dissolves. The reason why this is so effective is quite simple, actually. The purest chi is generated under your tongue in the saliva. A major meridian point is connected to several others in that spot, and putting the salt there runs a cleaning current of pure chi through the whole body. 13. Get a bowl and fill it with white rice. Place 3 drops of camphor essential oil in the bowl and mix it up to infuse the rice. Also add a handful of sea salt and mix it up again. Place on window seals to absorb the negative energies and drain the energy of negative spirits. Replace the bowls every 3 to 5 days. This technique works really well on hungry ghosts specifically, and it has deep roots in ancient China and Japanese culture as well. 14. Asafoetida is an Indian herb that is often employed in exorcisms and can be used to fumigate a home and dispel negative spirits and energy. The smell is highly potent against spirits and rather unpleasant to humans too. You'll want to mix salt in a brass bowl with the herb and mix dragon's blood essential oil with the herb before lighting the contents on fire and wafting it through the entire home. 15. You may also purchase some Tibetan prayer flags and hang them around your home for protection and to lift the energy in your home by connecting to higher beings. Once a year, burn the flags and purchase new ones and put them up.